everybody, hope you enjoyed that little showcase of the French artillery that I've done here. Essentially, these guys on the right are ones that I just painted from scratch, including so these are all Minden miniatures, except for in the middle I've got the artillery officer, which is a Crann miniature. And so essentially the ones on the left I ended up, as I discussed in an earlier video, switching their coats to blue, and I had everything, including the waistcoat and everything, red before, red and white. So these actually have blue as I believe they're supposed to be, with waistcoats that are red. And so I've got them all sort of, and I did a little bit of touch-up. I painted the eyes. I did some things that I just hadn't done in the past on those. I didn't paint their eyes. So I touched up their faces a bit, painted their eyes as well. Kind of tried to get them to be about, to really look the same. And cannons as well, painted the same way. And so pretty happy with the way these guys came out. And so now I can use these as, either two cannon, musket and tomahawk, or maybe a battery in sharps practice. And so that should be good to really counter my French artillery, or excuse me, my British artillery that I had just done. And so this weekend I actually spent quite a bit of time puttying up the French Fusiliers, and then as well priming them. So it actually took me quite a while because there's a fair number of them, to get their bases ready and then to prime them. So I'll just kind of show what's up next here. Yeah, so up next I have 40 miniatures here. Two of them are officers on horseback, and I do have an extra standard in the back. I suppose I could use for something at one point, but essentially I've got a fairly good amount here to paint up, fairly good size, and so I suspect I'll be settling in on this one for quite a little while. I also have, command up here. I have a musician, NCO, the standards, or flag bearers, and officer on foot. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to painting these up. I will likely go through the same process I typically do, and so I know that probably, because I'm doing these as Languedoc, I'll be doing a lot of white initially. I'll be doing essentially a really, really, really light gray initially. So that's probably how I'll start. It'll be it'll be just sort of a dull down white, I suppose, is what I'll start with. One of the things that I did realize today, I was looking at uniforms and doing a little bit of research, because even though I've done a unit of Languedoc in the past, it's been so long that I really wanted to refresh myself on the uniform a bit, my memory. And one of the things I realized in pulling out some old miniatures is that I think I said in another video that I didn't have a French officer on horseback. I actually do. I actually have purchased this guy twice now. There's actually there's another one apparently that has that he's not pointing, I believe. I'd have to look, unless that's the British. There's one where there's an A and B. In any case, it's no harm done. I'll paint up another one, maybe just different horse style, something like that. And I am going to, on some of these older ones that I've done, touch them up a bit as I did the artillery, to how I want to do these, just some of the colors. I did these, this is a Languedoc gentleman that I did in the past, and actually doesn't look so bad here, but I was thinking of darkening just slightly the blues, maybe just doing a glaze to just darken the blues just slightly to what I've been doing. And but beyond that, I may at one point touch up these guys' faces. I'm pretty much using these guys kind of like as a light infantry, whereas they have a bit more dynamic poses than the ones that I have here. These are more marching. Uniforms are slightly different, but I may end up just kind of using them as a light infantry at one point while I use these guys. And I also have my Canadian Marines, which can really act as regulars or scouts, however I choose to. So I'll have different options for the French, which will be nice. I am going to get some grenadiers. I think Osterwolf will have to correct me again on that. I think I said grenadiers in the last video, and I've heard it said so many different ways, and I hear that they used a type of grenade weapon at one point, that type of troop, and that made me just think of grenadiers after that, but grenadier. And so I'll be doing grenadiers next. After this would be the next thing I would add to the French at one point. And I'll have the Marines. I'll have this big block of regulars, and I'll have some light infantry that I can use. Now, I have, with that group, I mean, it did come with a standard or flag. I'll be getting more GMB flags. I'm actually looking at ordering soon, because as I'm finishing up this group, I'm going to order some British and French flags for all the flags that I have not put on flagpoles. I do like the GMB flags. They are kind of pricey, but now that I've started with them, I'm going to continue with them. They are beautiful, though, and they really fold nicely, and so I'll probably just stick with them. And then I do have an officer already that I will probably touch up, both his face and the blues, as I kind of talked about. Get them to be like how I'm going to do these guys, how these guys will come out. But that is your basic color scheme for Languedoc. When I actually chose these guys, I did like the flag, but I didn't choose them for any special reason other than I kind of liked my French to be primarily white and blue, which are their main colors, but there are a number of different variants, and there are some that have more red, which, you know, come to think of it, like I might do a different group in the future, you know, a different battalion, I guess, in the future that has a different uniform color just for the fun of it. I might do that. But for now, I'm kind of just... Sorry if I was shouting in the microphone there. For now, I'm just sticking with Languedoc and keeping my whites and blues and keeping it simple. And once I have these guys playable and where I'm using these, maybe I'll do something different in the future. Because I do love painting up French Indian War stuff. Now, in addition to having a second one to paint of the officer, I think I showed earlier, I have this beautiful sort of generic officer figure that I'm using for the French. And he's just got his pistol ready. More in a standing posture. So I'm really looking forward to painting that one up too. It's a nice variant. So that's about it. This should be fun. This is going to definitely take me some time. I'm hoping to maybe join some paint and chats over at Dash of Elan, Tabletop Commander, Curtis. I'm going to definitely try to head over there, and while I'm doing this project, I find that it's very productive. And I am thinking about actually, in my next project, the Marvel stuff, maybe doing some... just specifically for the Marvel stuff, I'm thinking about doing some paint and chats where I actually stream, hang out, paint do some figure painting and that might be fun. If any of you are actually have stuck this long there into the superhero gaming and are watching this, I might actually do that. So, all right. I hope you guys have had a good weekend, and talk to you later.